Good evening, one and all. We welcome you all to the International Webinar Series on Holistic Health, Well-being and Sustainable Development 2022-2023, commemorating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, nation celebrating 75 years of independence, United Nations Sustainable Development Goals 2015-2030, as part of awareness and campaigns, and India's G20 presidency, and World Health Week and World Health Month 2023 in collaboration with Sri Holistic Health Foundation India and Sri Research Institute Center for Art, Sciences and Wellbeing. Before we start our sessions, let's take the blessings of Almighty.
कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शत्रुबुद्धिविनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदः.
With the blessings of Almighty, we shall continue with today's commemorations. Today is a very important day for the cultural awareness and also today is International Day for Monuments and Sites, which is observed on April 18th all over the world every year. The goal is to raise awareness on cultural heritage, diversity, and the vulnerability of sites and monuments and the measures needed to maintain and conserve them. Every year, International Council of Monuments and Sites, ICOMS, sets a theme initiatives organized by its members, nations, and international committees, and anyone else interested in commemorating this day. So this organization invites participants to focus on contentious and complex narratives about cultural heritage, to encourage development of new discourses based on a respectful and inclusive approach, addressing erroneous or contentious historical interpretations appear to be critical to preserving our heritage. So given the deterioration or extinction of any cultural property, as stated by the UNESCO, 1954 and 1972 treaties causes harm to mankind as a whole. So the International Day for Monuments and Sites was developed by ICOMOS in 1982 and was later adopted by UNESCO during its 22nd General Conference, and ICOMOS suggests a theme for activities to be arranged by its members. So ICOMOS in national and international scientific committees, working groups and partners, as well as anybody else who wants to participate in commemorating the day, cultural heritage conservation necessitates both a critical evaluation of the past and a commitment to the future. In recent years, debates concerning the deletion and erasure of some narratives as well as the prioritization of certain stories over others have heated up. As a result, dealing with contentious history necessitates lengthy discussions to avoid skewed perspectives and interpretations of the past. The deterioration or extinction of any item of cultural or natural heritage represents a damaging impoverishment of the legacy of all nations of the world, according to the World Heritage Convention in 1972. However, there are still disparities in the recognition, interpretation, and ultimately conservation of various cultural manifestations. The first International Day for Monuments and Sites, on the other hand, took place in 2001 with the theme Save Our Historic Villages. Organizations such as the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organizations support the day. UNESCO. So there are variety of activities taken on all across the world on this day. This day comprises, or this event comprises a variety of activities as well as conferences and excursions to historical places and monuments. For the uninitiated, a heritage site is essentially a culturally significant location. It protects a society or group's intangible physical artifacts that has been passed down through the generations. So UNESCO establishes the International Year of Monument to offer better global coverage in the perception of a monument as a building or historical site of exemplary character and significance. In 1964, ICOMOS creates the International Day for Monuments and Sites, and UNESCO eventually adopts its 22nd General Conference in 1982. The first International Day for Monuments and Sites takes place with the theme Save Our Historic Villages in 2001. The 50th century of the formation of ICOMOS and the US ICOMOS partnership is celebrated in 2015. Every year on April 18th, World Heritage Day, also known as International Day for Monuments and Sites, is commemorated. And cultural heritage and natural heritage are two categories of heritage. Cultural heritage includes historic structures, monuments, and collections of information about how people live, such as photographs, paintings, stories, newspapers, and newsbooks. Mountains, rivers, and any terrain are examples of natural heritage. Italy has the world's highest concentration of UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Following UNESCO Committee's yearly announcement of additional sites, the country has now 58 World Heritage Sites. So we can observe or be part of this International Day for Monuments and Sites by participating in webinars, conferences, workshops on the presentations on preservation of monuments and heritage sites near your place. You will also get a full-hand experience by going through it. And look for an open house at historical landmark. Generally, national historic landmarks are free to visit. You are already celebrating the day by taking part in the special open house day programming and festivities. And taking kids out of the classroom to visit a historical site or a museum is one of the finest methods to get them enthused about history. Schools can travel around the country to deepen young people awareness of the country history. We have more than 1,092 World Heritage Sites. They are split into 845 cultural sites, 209 natural sites, and 38 mixed sites. The largest World Heritage Sites are the Phoenix Islands Protected Area in Kiribati is the largest World Heritage Site, covering 408,250 square kilometers. The Holy Trinity Column in Olomouc, Czech Republic has the smallest World heritage site at 200 meters square. Okinoshima Island in Japan and Mount Athos in Greece are the off-limits to women. Both are exclusively male religious societies which are restricted to women. And the only two sites have ever been removed from the list of World Heritage Sites, that is Oman's Arabian Orcs Sanctuary and German's Dresden Elbe Valley. So this is a day to raise awareness about the richness of cultural assets, the vulnerability of the sites and monuments, and the measures required to safeguard and conserve them. The day promotes cultural significance while also emphasizing the numerous hurdles to doing so. It urges to celebrate all the world's cultures. It also aims to advocate the preservation of world cultures. Culture and its heritage reflect and define values, beliefs, and aspirations, and hence define a people's national identity. It is critical to preserve our cultural history because it protects our identity of people. Especially when it comes to India, we have seen a lot of invasions, especially these religious invasions, which have destroyed many such cultural, rich national and natural, as well as, these artificial monuments. India has gone through such brutal invasions who have invaded country and destroyed the rich culture. So to that extent, these invasions are not recorded, but if you just happen to listen to these invasions, your blood will boil with like anything. So, but unfortunately, maybe that is the reason most of the history is not recorded and available everywhere. But that is again being misused, is taken as an advantage, and those kind of atrocities are still being committed by those invaders still living in the country in different forms and committing atrocities to the monuments and sites and attacking these in various ways. Today we have seen, even at the time of wars or even at the time of invasions, many monuments are attacked, destroyed. So this kind of narcissistic or psycho-sadism kind of approach or perspective towards destroying the culture of the planet or various religions is the darkest side of the humans with vested interests. So many, even India faced such various invasions, which are brutal invasions which destroyed most of these kind of monuments, especially religious monuments, where we all know India being a Hindu country, and most of these temples and various structures were destroyed by the Muslim invaders and Christian and all other, need not mention, but we know who are the invaders, but destroyed the rich culture and tradition, natural monuments and cultural monuments of the nation. We can see that's why studying history is very important. We know otherwise we will be glorifying them. Even in the modern textbooks, you can see these brutal invaders are being glorified in such a big way that we forgot what they have done to the nation and what they are doing even now. So it is very important to know about the true history so that we can ensure at least whatever happened was happened, but we have to ensure that it doesn't repeat. So it's always important, though it is so brutal, but it is very much essential for the present generations and future generations to know the true history, which helps us to keep conscious about our future. So with this, we shall conclude this commemoration today. And apart from that, we have a lot of other commemorations. And today, this month is also commemorated as World Health Month. And today, this entire week, starting from today, is commemorated as Health Information Professionals Week, starting from today till 24th. See, we have a lot of information regarded to health, and it has to be properly collected, documented, analyzed, reported. Otherwise, we would lack information about various health aspects. So that is why to conduct research and to create a repository of health information professionals plays an important role. Though this commemoration is in United States, but it is very much relevant to across the world. This takes place as informed from April 18th to 24th every year. So a health information professional or health information manager is a person whose job is to manage all the health information and data relating to a patient in order to ensure that everything is accurate, update, and secure and accessible. They are like a liaison between medical physicians, the patient, and any third party who might require the information. Health information professionals are the most trusted people because they handle so much sensitive information about an individual. So the responsibility on their shoulders is definitely huge. Although there are no clear records, Health Information Professionals Week was founded by the American Health Information Management Association, AHIMA, AHIMA in short, in 1990. And 2021 was a year that marked 32 years of HIP, in short known as for Health Information Professionals Week being observed. The aim of founding this week was to spread awareness about the importance of the work that health information professionals or managers do and how they contribute to the social health care and medical ecosystems. According to AHIMA, the motto and aim of Health Information Professional Week are to keep health information human. Hence, it is a great way to recognize and celebrate all that information professionals invest in and do to ensure that patients' information is secure and they receive the highest quality care. The official website shares many testimonials around the world and honors health information professionals in various ways. In order to understand where health information professionals fit into bigger picture of the healthcare system, it is worthwhile tracing the origin of health information management as a professional career path. The health information management HIM profession dates back to 1928 with the establishment of Association of Record Librarians of North America, ARLNA in short, as a subset of American College of Surgeons, ACS in short. So the reason this was formed was to elevate the standards of clinical records in hospitals and other medical institutions. The organization then went through several name changes in 1938 and 1970, respectively, with the final name changed happening in 1991, the American Health Information Management Association. This was done to accurately reflect the importance of impact technology and data analytics have had on the way health records and other information is processed and recorded. It also speaks to the influence of health information management and on all spheres of healthcare, be it a doctor's office, the clinic or hospital, and other relevant places. AHIMA also instituted the AHIMA Triumph Awards in 1994 to honor and celebrate exceptional health information professionals who demonstrated leadership, innovation, and extraordinary talent in the field. Astrologers Simon Foreman and Richard Napier document the first complete collection of patients, medical questions, and diagnosis. In 1596, with medical record keeping, health information management becomes a profession with the founding of ARLNA by American College of Surgeons, and HIM becomes a career path for many in 1928. With the introduction of Medicare and Medicaid, nurses must now collect patients' medical data in order to manage reimbursements. So Medicare and Medicaid are also introduced in 1960s. So the Health Information Professionals Week is made an official week of observance to appreciate all the health information professionals in 1990, where first time the Health Information Professional Weeks is observed. After various name changes, AHIMA is the final name the organization settles for in 1991. Health information management can be a good career path because the income is substantial, provided that one pursues an advanced degree in the field and has sufficient experience in the domain. There is upward mobility in this career and the benefits can be long-term. A health information officer is also sometimes referred to as Chief Medical Information Officer, CMIO, who acts as an intermediary between the medical departments and the IT departments at any organization that deals with healthcare services. This role is usually a senior role, which is equivalent to that of a director. Health information management involves the management of patients' health information from end to end. Health information managers are responsible for acquiring accurate data and health information from patients and medical practitioners, analyzing the data, ensuring that it's all secure and protected, and making sure that the patient receives full visibility as well as the best quality health care and services. It combines skills from subject areas such as science, business, and information technology. So reach out to a health information professional whom you or your family members may know and take the time to find out more about what they do. Think about ways in which you can thank them for the service they provide. It could be by the way of a card or a gift hamper, voucher, or even a good word or a kind word as an expression of gratitude, or simply saying thank you. Do a bit of research to find out more about who a health information professional is and how they revolutionize the healthcare system. You may quickly realize that a health information professional job has a far-reaching impact on people's lives, including perhaps your own. So Health Information Professionals Week is an important week because it honors those in a profession and who may rarely get any recognition at all. It is easy to take for granted the fact technology makes information storage and accessibility easier. But the fact is, there is a human behind all your medical records, which makes us want to celebrate their hard work. So therefore, it is important to spread awareness about the painstaking work that these professionals do in order to ensure that all patients have accurate, updated, and secure information. According to research, over $500 million is spent annually on mobile health applications. There are still about 50% of the patients who are ignorant about whether or not their health records and information is available to them electronically. Physicians are increasingly tech dependent. About 60% of physicians are said to own their own tablets and depend on them for information and data. Many universities offer accelerated degrees in healthcare information technology as a specific degree in healthcare. It emerged as a separate field of study. Approximately $9 billion are spent each year on resources that enable users to rate a healthcare industry. So ratings also matters. And it highlights a lesser known profession. Many of us ever stop to think about who is in charge of keeping all records up to date? So do we ever realize that there is a person who is touch point for such things and they are in every way of professional in their field? During the week, there is a chance for these health information professionals to be appreciated for all they do to keep things running smoothly for both patients and medical practitioners. Health Information Professionals Week is a great way to spread about the career opportunities that are available in the space of health information management or health informatics. Many young people exploring future careers may be unaware of the profession or even people in the field looking for a chance of the career. So this week is an important because it can serve as a stepping stone for getting people interested in health information as a profession. So you would be hard pressed to find any nation or society which does not have some form of healthcare information system in place. Therefore, this week is important one as health information is relevant to the patients and healthcare organizations across the globe. This week is also commemorated as Global Campaign for Educational Action Week, which involves discussions around making formal education more accessible globally. It is a global campaign led by UNESCO and top NGOs dedicated to the prioritization of formal education in all the countries of the world where it is yet to reach. The primary goal of this event is the promotion of Global Sustainable Development Goals, number 4, which is to ensure exclusive and equitable quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. Education began in prehistoric times as the young were trained by the older ones in the knowledge and skills required for their survival. In some civilizations before the advent of literature, this knowledge was passed orally and through imitation, especially when we see the oldest civilizations in India and where the tradition of education was literally, we can see from Vedic times, the education was passed, the Vedas were passed from generations to generations through oral traditions. And similarly, later on, even various other aspects and disciplines were also orally transmitted before they were put in on the palm leaves and these copper leaves and various other written forms. So storytelling was also a means of passing down knowledge, values, and skills from one person to other or from one generation to the next. With the advancement and evolution of cultures and knowledge came to the development of formal education. Formal education comprises teaching students in a specific and organized manner in a structured environment, specially designed for the kind of learning. Formal education usually takes place in such environment or a school environment where students sit together in assigned classrooms to be learned with a trained certified teacher. Most school systems are designed according to set values and educational standards for each environment, and this results in things like a curriculum, student-teacher interactions, method of assessment, class size educational activities, and other activities relevant to developing students in an educational capacity. In 1997, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, created the International Standard Classification of Education, ISCED, to serve the purpose of comparing education systems. The most version of the ISCED, created in 2011, has 9 levels and also extended the lowest level ISCED 0 to cover a subcategory of early childhood development programs. So the oldest universities in the world are established in India. And as we know, from across the world, scholars used to come to India to learn. And we have one of the oldest universities in the world established and the largest libraries in the world. If we take the West, the oldest university in the West was the University of Caraville in Morocco, which was established in 859 AD. So this was far after the establishments of ancient universities in India. The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization was established in London in 1945. So UNESCO was established, and the International Standard Classification of Education was established by UNESCO, which in short is known as ISCED, in 1997. The Global Campaign for Education is established in 1999 as a partnership between educational NGOs. The Global Campaign for Education is established in 1999. So informal education is a broad phase for education that takes place outside of a structured curriculum. Informal education includes, but is not limited to, student interest with a curriculum in a regular classroom context. It operates through communication as well as discovery and expansion of experience. And education is key to success. The ultimate key to success is self-belief, which can help you realize your full potential. Education leads you down the path of self-discovery, which leads to self-belief, giving meaning to your life, and equips you with the tools to achieve long-term success. So the oldest schools, as already mentioned, was in India. When we take other countries or the rest of the world, the oldest high school in the world was Shishi High School based in Chengdu, China. It has been in existence since 143, which is the oldest school after schools in India. So there are several trust funds and foundations specially set up to avail formal education to those who are otherwise unable to get one on their own. A good way to celebrate this week is donate to one of these. And it's never a bad idea to enroll at a college, even if it is for a single semester, just to learn something you haven't learned before. No knowledge acquired is ever lost. So enroll yourself at a school. It is going to be a whole week of information media buzzing with activities from the Global Campaign for Education Action Week. So whichever activity you will be participating in, make sure you share it on media with Global Campaign. So there is a globally high rate of illiteracy among women, with about two-thirds of the global population of illiterate people being a woman, and being high illiteracy among women. Education in rural areas is almost non-existent in most of the underdeveloped and developing countries. And in several countries of the world, particularly in some parts of Africa, Asia, and Middle East, it is believed that girls do not have to go to the school. So girls are less likely to begin the school, though it is changing rapidly nowadays. And more girls' enrollment is also being encouraged and seen. In sub-Saharan Africa and some parts of Asia, millions of children drop out of school before they even complete their primary school education. This is due to various reasons, basically due to economical reasons, where even children are also forced into economic hardships and labor for their earning livelihood. That's why this midday meal scheme and morning breakfast and evening snacks and various programs, especially were launched in the schools, in government schools, to promote and provide the nutrition supplements to the children, because no children would be happy learning or would be able to learn with full potential when he is hungry or when he or she is hungry. So that's why it is very much important to take care of their health as along with their educational requirements. In low income countries, getting an education guarantees earning a living that is several times higher than not getting an education. So value of education in low income country is very much crucial. As opposed to the unorganized random learning, formal education occurs in organized structures. Courses are certified after every major stage. We don't see that kind in informal education. Having an education is empowering for people who are privileged to have an education. In many parts of the world, education is an economic advantage and education is powerful. Having an education gives a lot more exposure than having none. The structure, organization, and experiences of having a formal education tend to give a wide exposure that goes beyond the education. So with this, we shall conclude the commemoration. And this week is also commemorated as Fibroid Awareness Week, to show support for all women who suffer from fibroids. The purpose of this commemoration is to raise awareness about a widespread but little discussed health concern that affects 20 to 80% of the women by the age of 50. Fibroids do not affect all women, but those who do may experience pain, pressure on the bladder, frequent urination, or even a bloated abdomen. Age, family history, ethnic origin, obesity, and eating habits such as consuming too much red meat or any meat are all risk factors for fibroids. Consuming a lot of green vegetables is linked to lower incidence of fibroids. So to get rid of fibroids, it is always good to have a vegetarian diet. So the muscular region of the uterus is where uterine fibroids originate. They are benign tumors that can cause copious menstrual bleeding, pelvic pain, and painful, irregular, and or protracted menstruation, pain in the pelvic, abdominal, or lower back areas, as well as frequent urination or constipation may be experienced by women. Having uterine fibroids can also cause cramping or abdominal distension. Some women have uterine fibroids but don't show any signs or symptoms. Because doctors are unable to determine the exact source of uterine fibroids, understanding them is difficult. What doctors do is know the obesity and family history of uterine fibroids increase a woman's risk of getting uterine fibroids. A diet that is high in meat and poor in veggies can also have a significant role. Uterine fibroids affect around 2 lakh women in the United States each year. A pelvic exam is usually the first step, followed by imaging studies such as ultrasound, MRI, and or saline sonogram. Uterine fibroids are chronic, meaning they can last a lifetime. They may shrink significantly after menopause, but they rarely vanish completely. They can also reappear once they have been removed. Uterine fibroids can be treated in a variety of ways, depending on their size and location in a woman's body. Your doctor's treatment plan will most likely be determined by the severity of your uterine fibroids, as well as the patient's stated goals. Medication or uterine fibroidectomy are 2 alternatives for treatment. Your doctor will most likely want to keep you an eye on your uterine fibroids to see if they alter or improve. Saffronia Thompson, a state representative, introduces Texas House Bill, which designates July as Uterine Fibroids Awareness Month in 1966. The project holds educational community events across the country to provide women with accurate fibroids information, reaching over 120,000 women through these activities with the name The White Dress Project in 2014. Fibroids receive only $17 million in research funding from the National Institute of Health, putting in the bottom 50 of nearly 300 funded conditions. Despite the fact medical costs related to fibroids are about $35 billion per year in the United States alone. So this was the statistics in 2019. The bill on uterine fibroids, Vice President Kamala Harris submits a bill in the US House of Representatives on Thursday, July 30, to provide funds for uterine fibroids research and education in 2020. Many women with fibroids have no symptoms, but those who do have a tough time dealing with them. Pelvic pain and heavily monthly bleeding are common symptoms, which might lead to anemia or need for blood transfusion, bladder pressure resulting in frequent urination. Although uterine fibroids are rarely hazardous, they can cause pain and consequences such as decline in red blood cells causing anemia, which causes exhaustion as a result of excessive blood loss. Blood loss may necessitate a transfusion on rare occasions. Avoid processed foods, meats, and high-fat dairy products. Fibroids can be aggravated by eating certain foods, according to studies like red meat. The same can be said for caffeine and as well as alcohol. So try to avoid tea and coffee, even alcohol, and also smoking. Fibroid Awareness Week also aims to encourage more study and funding for the widespread but little known disorder. A campaign to raise awareness about uterine fibroids, a disorder that affects millions of women all over the world because of the excessive bleeding associated with fibroids. Many women do not prefer to wear white. The white garments movement is more than a fashion statement. It is a symbol of hope and strength for women living with or living from fibroids, as well as a reminder that we will discover a treatment. You may prevent fibroids from forming by educating yourself and those around you, as well as raising awareness for other women with fibroids. Even for individuals who are aware of the problem, awareness and education are still required. Hormones have the ability to alter fibroid growth. Fibroids also diminish or disappear through menopause or during menopause when women have less estrogen and progesterone in their bodies. Some women are unaware that they have fibroids until they are identified during a normal gynecological exam. Symptoms may or may not occur. Lifestyle plays an important role. While there is some evidence that fibroids run in families, they also appear to grow and shrink as a result of specific lifestyle variables. Fibroids in the uterus can grow very slowly or very quickly. It is possible that they will stay the same size for years together. The development patterns might be different from person to person. And one of the signs is menstrual bleeding that is heavy or protracted are the signs of uterine fibroids. So many organizations are offering more information about fibroids. One of them is the White Dress Project, which offers hope, knowledge, and support to women who are living with uterine fibroids. Fibroids became worse as time passes, and fibroids can continue to develop in size and number if left untreated. The symptoms will worsen when the tumors take over the uterus. The main reason for this is that fibroids deform the uterine cavity, making it more difficult for a pregnancy to adhere to the uterus in the end. While fibroids play a role in infertility, in some women, other causes are more common. This week is also commemorated as Cleaning for a Reason Week. For a reason, on ISSA Charities Hallmark initiative that offers clean homes for cancer patients is gearing up for the annual Cleaning for a Reason Week. The week-long philanthropic event seeks to generate cash and promote awareness of its goal to grow its recruiting efforts in collaborating with home cleaning firms and find and reach more cancer patients and develop new fundraising initiatives with ISSA member companies. Today is also commemorated as Adult Autism Awareness Day. Today is also one more important day, being World Amateur Day, Amateur Radio Day. So we have seen these wireless radio sets used at the time of disasters and even with law enforcement agencies. These are very crucial. Even before radio has emerged, these have been in service. So amateur radio, commonly referred to as ham radio, makes use of radio frequency spectrum for non-commercial purposes such as exchanging messages, private recreation, emergency communication, wireless experimentation, and self-training. Federal Communications Commission, FCC, and the International Telecommunication Union, ITU, assign radio frequencies to amateur radio services. These frequencies are used by amateur radio operators to interact with similar people via two-way personal communication. The ITU is responsible for all matters related to the information and communication technologies. The transmission, technical, and operated characteristics are regulated by national governments that issue licenses with unique identifying call signs to individual stations. These call signs must be used in all transmissions. Amateur radio service was started or established by the ITU, a special agency of the United Nations formed on May 17, 1865. Hams is another term for amateur radio operators. The term ham was initially used as a derogatory moniker for amateur radio operators by operators in the commercial and professional radio communities in 1909. The term was quickly adopted by the operators and became ingrained in their lexicon. The phrase, however, did not become widely used in the United States until around 1920, after which it gradually spread to other English-speaking countries. International Amateur Radio Union, IARU, was formed by the amateur radio pioneers in Paris on April 18, 1925, to support amateur radio worldwide. It was first discovered by amateur radio experiments that the shortwave spectrum could support worldwide propagation. The IARU noted that in the race of exploit these shorter wavelengths, amateur radio was at greater risk of being pushed aside. Since its inception, IARU has worked relentlessly to safeguard and increase amateur radio frequency allocations. Radio amateurs can now experiment and communicate in frequencies frequency band strategically positioned throughout the radio spectrum, thanks to the help of enlightened administrators all over the world. The IARU has expanded from 25 countries upon its founding in 1925 to 160 member societies in 3 regions: Europe, Africa, and the Middle East and Northern Asia are all part of IARU Region 1. Region 2 includes the Americas, while Region 3 includes Australia, New Zealand, and the Pacific Island nations and the majority of Asia. The ITU has recognized the IARU as representing amateur radio interests. So radio waves existed. Henry Rudolph proves that the existence of radio waves in 1888. The first commercially produced wireless telegraphy receiver becomes available to amateurs in 1905. Students at Columbia University formed the club that we know now as Columbia University Amateur Radio Club, Wireless Telegraph Club in 1908. 3 new amateur radio bands were established at the World Administrative Radio Conference in 1979. So the term ham was a degradative nickname for the radio amateurs, but it has been since been accepted by them. So people use amateur radio to communicate across town or over the world and even into space, all without use of cell phones or internet. So amateur radio is not as popular as it ought to be. Do more research about it and learn more about amateur radio. After doing research, spread the knowledge. This could get you a listening buddy, or you might even succeed in convincing someone to join amateur radio. There are apps available on both iOS and Android that allows you to listen to them. Try some today. The most powerful radio station is WLW ever. The world's first voice message was transmitted by Reginald Fessenden in 1900. And radio scientists did first public radio broadcast from the top of Eiffel Tower. And many birds are killed by radio antennas every year. So antennas kill many birds. There is also a popular belief that radio waves will continue to travel forever as an eternal travel. And sometimes, thanks to the amateur radio, we get first-hand reliable information about a local emergency, which can save lives. Television news can be slow, and social media can be full of misinformation, but amateur radio is often reliable. Amateur radio is tremendous social activity. Amateur radio amateurs often come together for different social events and radio meetups. The best thing is that these gatherings are available both offline and online. They are not just limited to radio amateurs alone. Anyone living near the gathering can participate. And it is a day for radio amateurs to show their skills to the world. Amateurs of different regions come together to celebrate with one another. So even in college days, long before, few years back, I was also, enthusiast of this amateur radio. Even I learned, though I did not obtain the license, that license requires a written exam by the Department of Communications, Government of India. But I was also an active member for the society for more than 10 years. Both actively and passively. So it's a great opportunity, especially for youngsters or even, the students and professionals. But now I think more we are using internet and other services, but you don't need to pay anything. And without any internet, without any telephone, it's a wonderful way to get connected from across the world. Even I lost, in the recent years, I lost contact with this amateur radio world, but unfortunately, but it's a great opportunity to be associated and to keep learning. So with this, we shall end the commemorations. And today, still we have time, okay. Then we'll move on to our another commemoration for the day. Today is International Jugglers Day. So hope the day honors the art of juggling. So everyone knows what juggling is, assuming. Otherwise, it's a play, it's an art of, juggling. And it has many accomplished practitioners. If you're looking for a way to have fun with various things, you might consider learning how to juggle them. Toss juggling is the most well-known kind of juggling, and juggling may be done with one or more hands, and one can do it with one or other several times at items at a time. So many jugglers refer to the things they juggle as props. Props like balls, clubs, and rings are quite prevalent. Knives, flaming torches, and chainsaws are some of the most dramatic props used by jugglers. The first known representation of juggling was discovered in the Beni Hasan tombs of the ancient Egyptian civilization, Middle Dynasty. Inside one of the crypt's murals, depictions of lady jugglers were found amid acrobats and dancers. The artwork was created around 2000 BC. After the Beni Hasan tombs, there is a 1500-year hiatus until evidence of juggling returns in Greek art. So juggling gradually regained legitimacy when the Middle Ages ended. Pierre Grignoret was renowned as the king of jugglers, a title that did not seem to be disparaging. In 1528, the emperor of Hindustan reported a troupe of jugglers performing the wooden rings in his chronicle. In the same year, Christophe Bates depicted jugglers among the Aztecs of Mexico. The brothers Muti and Meduasam initially debuted in Europe about 1820. These two Indian performers used Chinese devil sticks and Oriental ball manipulation. They were so popular that the Far East acts quickly became the rage. There was also a lot of misunderstanding between American and Asian Indians. Many Europeans contributed to the confusion by claiming to be from it from China, Japan, or India. Cal Rapo, a German performer who described himself as an Indian and did exotic maneuvers and feats of strength with iron balls, was one such artist. The Burmese monk Toon, who worked only with his feet and got excellent praise across Europe, was one of the real Asian entertainers. In 1870, the first authentic Japanese troupe arrived in the West, led by juggler Aota Katsuno, and practiced traditional Japanese ball and stick play, from which contemporary ball manipulation originated. The International Jugglers Association founded International Jugglers Day in mid-1980s. So if you devote enough time to practicing the skill every day, you should be able to learn how to juggle the ball in less than a month. The finest jugglers in the world can toss and catch 14 balls simultaneously. Most individuals can start learning 3-ball juggling in a few days. 3 balls are often the entry point into proper juggling, roughly described as the ability to move more items that one hand can. You can celebrate this day by giving the art of juggling a try. Take some lessons and practice. It's always exciting to see juggling in real life. On this day, make plans to attend a circus show. You can also celebrate this day by sharing your experiences. Felix Daedy, uh, Felix Dav, better known as Stalin, attended circus and ballet school as youth, and he started as a career as juggler. And jugglers have prayed to Saint Julian the Hospitaller for help and success since 12th century in the West. So a patron saint of jugglers in the West exists. So the ancient Chinese emperor appears to have loved the entertainment in Rome and had jugglers brought to serve him regularly. So slave Roman jugglers were thus in China. So juggling was used by ancient Chinese soldiers to scare their opponents before combat. So juggling was used as an intimidation. So David Cook was the very first juggler to use clubs instead of sticks or knives, using very heavy wooden objects called Indian clubs. So Cook was the first to juggle clubs. So juggling builds eye-hand coordination. Practice can improve reaction time, reflexes, spatial awareness, strategic thinking, and concentration. It makes no distinctions based on age, gender, or athletic skill. A 10-year-old is just as likely as anybody else to be a terrific juggler, which is not true in other sports. So juggling is egalitarian. According to the research, learning to juggle speeds up the development of neurological connections associated with memory, attention, movement, and vision. The positive improvements persist even after the weeks of not practice. So juggling stimulates brain growth. Today is also commemorated as Pet Owners Independence Day, which aims to flip the script of the traditional role of pet owners or as breadwinners. On this day, all participating pet parents get the opportunity to lounge at home while their pets try their paws at working. They are admitted some logistical issues with the idea. It is unfathomable to imagine a hamster managing company accounting or a cat defending a case in the court. But it does serve as a wonderful thought exercise for tired pet owners longing for a break, where these pets are replacing their owners' jobs for a day. Humans had pets for thousands of years. In fact, archaeology suggests a period of 12,000 years, and it is an agreed upon fact that dogs were the first animals to be kept as a pets by humans. Ancient Greeks and Romans were known to openly mourn the loss of a dog, inscribing tombstones for their lost companions. Ancient Egyptians kept dogs and baboons as pets, often named and buried them with their owners. The modern conception of pet ownership stems from Victorian England. The 17th and 18th centuries bore witness to the gradual rise in social acceptability of keeping a pet. Pet soon became a sign of elite status as aristocrats began keeping dogs for both hunting and companionship. The rise of middle class post the Industrial Revolution led to the pet ownership becoming a part of the so-called workers' culture. As the popularity of pets rose, the pet trade became lucrative, and the streets of London soon saw vendors selling different breeds. The pedigree of a dog also grew in importance, as the breed of the dog was indicative of its owner's society, owners within the society, or owner status within the society. The sensibilities live on this day as breeders profit from the demand for purebred pets. There is, however, a rising demand in the society to stop the practice of breeding and shift to adopting pets regardless of their pedigree, often quoting the slogan, adopt and don't shop. According to study, pet owners are 12% happier than people without pets. While it's not an established fact that a study found that 1 in 3 people believe that their pet will make them a better parent someday. So take your pet to work. If your office is pet friendly, take your pet to your office, give them the grand tour and start introducing them to the idea of doing your work for you on this day. If you have enough PTOs, take the day off to relax, spend some quality time with your animal companion. Celebrate the day by getting a pet-friendly treat for your companion, bond with them as they explore the novelty of new treats. And of the survivors of the sinking of the RMS Titanic ship in 1912, there were also some dogs. So a few dogs were Titanic survivors. Cats spend 30% of their waking time grooming themselves. So with considerably good grooming habits. Dogs have 3 eyelids. So it's too many eyelids. A pack of cats is called a clowder. And rabbit teeth never stop growing. And this is a perfect excuse to simply lounge about for a day. We think everyone can use this as de-stressor. And whether you are taking your pet to work or simply relaxing together, Pet Owners Independence Day is a lovely opportunity to spend more time with your pet. Take them for a long walk or a fun day at the park, or stay in and learn cute indoor tricks together. So regardless of how you choose to spend this day, Pet Owners Independence Day is a great opportunity to switch up your pet's routine. A change is as good as a holiday. So today is also commemorated as National Velociraptor Awareness Day. This is a kind of, raptors we have seen in the Jurassic Park movie. This is one of the kind of dinosaurs. Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park film turns raptors into legitimate Hollywood superstars during the early 90s. National Velociraptor Awareness Day on April 18th gives us a reason to once again ponder this creature that roamed the earth 70 million years ago. Whether they roamed on the earth or were just movie magic, velociraptors continue to captivate imaginations on April 18th every year. So unlike those in films, did not stand over 7 feet tall, they were roughly 6.5 feet long and measured less than 2 feet high at the hip, but they did have some frightening hips. So they also had feathers and wings. In reality, they sort of resembled turkey dinosaurs. Still, the filmmakers were onto something. That's because production on Jurassic Park began before the 1991 discovery of the so-called Utahraptor skeleton, measuring 5.5 feet tall, the largest at that time. Said one film designer, "We designed it, we built it, and then discovered it." That still boggles my mind. So velociraptors roamed the earth about 85.8 million to 70.6 million years ago during the end of Cretaceous period. The name Velociraptor was bestowed upon the dinosaur in 1924 by the then president of American Museum of Natural History, Henry Fairfield Osborn. The name has Latin origins and so the Velociraptor was prominently featured in the Jurassic Park movies, just like uh, Tyrannosaurus Rex. But the Hollywood depiction was nothing like actual creature in terms of appearance and size. The Velociraptor was scaly and reptilian in the movies, whereas paleontologists discovered feathers and quill knobs on the fossil forearm of a velociraptor found in Mongolia in 2007. In 2008, researchers unearthed uh, photo, Photociraptors fossils marred with marks and grooves matching raptor teeth, as well as two teeth that belong to either. In 2012, a large bone of Pretosaur in the bowels of Velociraptor was also discovered, indicating that Velociraptors sometimes ate Pretosaurs, and there are two Velociraptor species, Mongolensis and Osmo. This was later identified in 2008. Today is one more important commemoration. Today is National Newspaper Columnist Day in the US. Aims to honor the work of columnists. A columnist is a person who produces written works to be published in series, generally offering commentary and opinions on current events or topics such as love, relationships, and careers. Columnists have different personalities, which demonstrated in the year. So columnists have different personalities, which is demonstrated in their written work. Some columnists lighten the mood or play a role with their flavor or humor or satire. Others provide difficult perspectives and hard facts based on the solid research. Whatever their policy, personality, or style, each columnist have or had what connects them to the people. So this day is to appreciate the dangerous work journalists do to bring information to the people. They are also in charge of creating public opinion. So keeping people in power accountable and bringing So today is also Lineman Appreciation Day. Linemen and women work on power or phone lines, keeping the current flowing to our homes and businesses. It is a dangerous job. After 2012's Hurricane Sandy, the 113th Congress passed a bill designating April 18th as National Lineman Appreciation Day. So this bill became law in 2013. So today is also National Exercise Day in US. Exercise enhances our general health by giving us more energy, making us feel better, and even extending our lives by years. Regular physical activity and exercise have several health benefits that are impossible to overlook. Everyone, regardless of age, gender, or physical ability, benefits from exercise. Unfortunately, despite how important exercising is, the only a few individuals are dedicated to it. So this day is to encourage and motivate people to encourage with the aim, that is today is also commemorated as National Animal Crackers Day. Hope we all remember these snacks in the shape of animals. In our childhood, animal crackers are arguably one of the best recognized food products on the planet today. So these little menagerie of zoo and circus creatures that delighted us as children would later become one of the fondest childhood memories and a simple guilty pleasure for us as adults. Animal crackers has been part of American childhood memories since the late 1800s, when they were first imported from England, where animal crackers were invented. When recipes for the popular animal-shaped biscuits made their way to America, independent bakers began baking up herds of animals to meet growing demand. The stampede of animal crackers out of grocery cracker barrels into American shopping baskets was very well underway when Stafford's Biscuit Company began commercially producing their original recipe, circus crackers, in 1871. Stafford's unique baking process created a slightly sweet, crispy cracker-like biscuit that dominated the growing animal cracker category for years. Then in 1902, the big competition arrived that transformed the animal cracker industry forever. Not all animal crackers are created equal, and despite the popularity of fast assassination of Nabisco's Barnum's animals to the iconic childhood cookie, many people still preferred original Stafford's animal cooking. The difference in texture and the flavor between today is also commemorated as Adult Autism Awareness Day. It is observed by autistic adults and their loved ones each year on April 18th. Autism, also known as autism spectrum disorder, can be identified as blood range of conditions which are characterized by challenges pertaining to social skills, repetitive behavior, speech, and nonverbal communication. This Adult Autism Awareness Day is observed by autistic adults and their loved ones each year on April 18th. Autism, which is also known as autism spectrum disorder, can be identified as a broad range of conditions that are characterized by challenges pertaining to social skills, repetitive behaviors, speech, and nonverbal communication. Statistics show that in the United States, autism affects an estimated 1 in 54 children today. It is important to realize that there's no one type of autism. These conditions are often individualistic. Adults with autism are also significant contributions to the field of arts, commerce, science, and many more. This day hopes to make life more convenient for the autistic adults. A person may show signs of autism as early as of 2 or 3 years old. However, some may have associated development challenges at even earlier age. Research shows that early medical intervention in such cases leads to positive outcomes later in the life for the people with autism. Caretakers must remember that several factors influence the development of autism. Along with autism, the person may also suffer from sensory sensitivities and medical issues such as gastrointestinal disorders, seizures, or sleep disorders, and mental health issues such as anxiety, depression, and attention disorders. Despite what many think, there is no one cause of autism. Research studies that autism can develop from both genetic and environmental influences. The symptoms of autism in adults can display differently from those in children. Many adults have learned to cope up with their symptoms over time. So ASD is one of the top most common neurological development disorders. In most cases, autistic people get a diagnosis as children After they turn 4, some autistic adults are not diagnosed in childhood, even if their symptoms are acute. So signs and symptoms of ASD in adults are many and can include the following: difficulty with speaking to others and sustaining friendships. There could be battles with controlling their emotions, focus interest on one specific topic, and repeatedly talking about it. The symptoms of autism deviate from one person to another. Autism Awareness Day, especially Adult Autism Awareness Day, was created to make life easier for such adults and to create awareness all around. The term is developed by psychiatrist Egon Bleuler from Switzerland. In 1908, autism is named. And Leo Kanner in 1943 was the first to define autism. And Hans Asperger describes a milder form of autism, now known as Asperger's syndrome, in 1944. So research on autism gains momentum since 1980s. April 2nd is a UN Awareness Day called World Autism Awareness Day. It was instituted in 2007 to create awareness of the millions of autistic children in our world, which we also commemorated. But today is exclusively dedicated for adults, so Adults Autism Awareness Day. Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, is a developmental disorder. It typically is portrayed by behavior and communication issues that affects a personal ability to understand social interactions, and it also causes repetitive and restricted behavior. One in 68 children is diagnosed with autism every year. It's not uncommon, and it is, nowadays highly prevalent and significant. And boys are 5 times more likely to be diagnosed with ASD than girls. This is largely due to girls being underdiagnosed. ASD is a genetic condition that generally appears before the age of 3. ASD costs a family $60,000 a year on average. The treatment is expensive. Albert Einstein, Isaac Newton, Andy Warhol, and Bill Gates might be on the autism spectrum, famous people who were possibly autistic. Today is also tax day in US, and the Internal Revenue Service patience has just run out. Unless you are due for a hefty refund or working as a highly paid accountant, tax day doesn't usually spark much joy. Although Form 1040 appears shorter nowadays, filing taxes remains way too complicated for most. Americans to do alone. It wasn't always this way. The IRS didn't appear on the scene until 1862. That's when the federal government began to assess, levy, and collect taxes through its power to seize property and income. So with this, we shall conclude today's commemorations, and thank you everyone for joining. We request everyone to quickly fill up the feedback form, which has been shared in the form of polls. If you have any queries, you can raise your hand or you can use chat box to share. Registration link has been shared in the chat box. Registration is mandatory for everyone. So after filling up the feedback form, we request everyone to register, if not yet registered. Those who have joined directly without registration, you can open the form after submitting the feedback form. Yeah, regarding certificates, we have mentioned there is a general duration, that is 15 working days for the certificate generation. So you can check the website after that, and many of the pending things are going on, so it might get some more delay also due to limited time and resources. So keep checking website. We will also update in WhatsApp groups. You are there in the WhatsApp group, so where certificates are available, we will let you know so that you can download. And do join, subscribe to our calendars so that you can join in time. That will help you remind and join in time. The minimum attendance is mandatory for all the sessions. It varies from 50 to 75% depending on the event. And it is taken on an average. So try to join in time so that you are also eligible for the certificates. And make sure you are daily registering and participating and providing feedback in Zoom through polls so that you are eligible for the certificate. See, most of the issues pop out only when you don't follow the instructions. Either you assume or either you deliberately don't register and follow the instructions. That's where, many of these issues rise regarding certificates. Generally, everything is automated system. So again, if you give a lot of manual work for us, it will delay unnecessary. It leads to wastage of time and resources. So make sure you follow the instructions carefully and strictly. For every event, register yourself. Registration should be the first thing that you have complete if you have decided to attend. So that will ensure that your details are available with us. And the next thing is check for the time. Joining link is same for all the days, all the events. So you can have the joining link saved. And anyway, if you have joined the Google Calendar, it will daily remind you. And every event has certain set of instructions. This, for this event, for these daily events, registration form remains the same. You need to register every day, as you will be getting certificate daily with different topics mentioned. And you need to fill the feedback form. Feedback form is mandatory. There will be no external link like registration form link where you can fill it up. It has to be submitted in the Zoom only. This is all for those who require certificates. For others who don't require certificates, they may not also complete the formalities, because anyway they are not interested in applying certificates. So these things doesn't matter. So they can happily join and leave before session and attend the session and leave the session. But those who are who require certificates, kindly make sure your registration, because documentation details are very important. So you can register So the details are available, and Zoom automatically keeps track of your attendance. So it is important that the participant name, which you are seeing in the list of participants, is same as your certificate name, or at least, system can recognize, or we can recognize your name. Often, you log in with some other name, that where the there is some issue in mapping your attendance to the registration name, and even the feedback also. That's where you lose the chance of getting certificate also. And many times we have seen, participants are not enabling their audio. That means they can't hear anything, and they are just simply, logged in, and they are not attending to the. So, so even the platform recognizes such things, and they are also, though they are completely there, but they are without the mic, and there is no audio enabled. So literally, you can't hear anything. So be mindful of being connected. So especially in many events, we see some participants don't enable their audio, so they can't hear anything. So what is the use of attending if you can't hear? So make sure of that. And mostly, as everything is systematic only, so first follow the instructions. That itself, resolves or prevents lot of issues. Following system is and instructions is a simple way where you yourself can assure of your certificate. Otherwise, what happens every day is there is an event, and every day we need to manage all the things. And if you miss, by the end of the day, if you miss any of the thing, again we cannot go back and prepare. All these again, it's a repeated task. So that involves lots of time wastage and resources. Again, as you have seen, nowadays we are sharing you a format where all these details have to be verified by us again. So, each participant, if we try verifying, it takes a lot of time and resources. Who has that time? So it's make sure you are filling up all the details correctly, following the instructions, so that you will get a certificate automatically. Otherwise, you may keep sending 1,000 messages also, but no use, because time is limited for everyone, and we cannot focus on these pending issues, so that the present is affected again. We also need to conduct day-to-day events, and we need to focus more on day-to-day activities rather than on the past, because these are very important. Past is anyway we have issued, those who have followed, and occasionally we do issue whenever we get time, but you need a lot of patience for that, because it is from your side the mistake has committed, or you have missed something, you did not follow the instructions. Now it is your responsibility to wait until your certificate is issued. So ensure that by the end of the day, you complete all the formalities, you register, you participate, you fill the feedback form in Zoom. Zoom is very important. Even though there is an additional feedback form that is only circulated when there are, many requests from participants. So in that case only, or sometimes, in the last conference, we exceeded the mentioned time. So many has taken a permission and left. So in such rare cases, we issue feedback, external feedback form. So even that also, we have seen lot of irregularities that are happening. I can show you one day. I will also show that also. Maybe after our series gets completed, I can show, where and what all things have happened on the platform. Many people don't attend, they fill the feedback forms, and many people don't attend, just attend for some time and fill the feedback form. So all these issues are there and keep blaming organizers. For us, it's okay, fine, you can blame, but what is the use of it? You yourself will lose the opportunity. For us, 1% or 100 persons, it's the same. So even one person attends, we conduct the session and we disseminate knowledge. As even when someone calls, we keep talking on telephone or mobile and keep sharing information. So number of participants doesn't matter for us. So anyway, it's loss for you only. So the best thing is to read all the instructions carefully whenever we are sharing an information with you. Read all the instructions and always join the groups, Facebook group, WhatsApp group or channel, or especially the calendar, so that it will remind you with the information and it will provide you the links. Always register so that you will get a copy of information to your email, so that whenever you want to look back, especially for the links, every message has links, and read it completely in many times, as we provide ample information, adequate information in the message. The message is automatically truncated to certain size. So you can click on read more on, which is the last button, the last word in the WhatsApp message. It will expand to its fullest form, where you can get all the links. So make sure these practices we need to learn when we are using mobiles, WhatsApp and other, so that it is very easy for us to follow. So ultimately, you are at loss. So this is not a platform which is promoting business or commerce. This is purely a non-profit platform, and it is systematic and it is automated. So only if you follow the system, certificates will be automatically generated. If you don't follow, then you are the person to be blamed, because you have not followed the system and you are struggling with the system. Now, to get your certificate again, see, it's very easy to register and complete the formalities. Otherwise, you have to daily keep reminding, and we are also helpless. We can't do anything about it unless and until the time comes. So you will only suffer. So we don't want anyone to suffer unnecessarily, because again, that is your mistake by not following the instructions. So the purpose of attending, again, if it is for certificate, then definitely you need to follow this formalities. Because we have all the records, whether you have filled it or not, when you have filled, we can show, we can always prove that there is no mistake from our side at any point of time. If you follow, then automatically you will be getting certificate. If you don't follow, if you have missed out something, if you have made some mistake, then only the system will not generate certificate. That is where, sometimes we go beyond and, tweak some settings, so that, especially for certain events where we give away, the attendance percentage is less, or sometimes we, like the conference, though it has gone up to 4 to 5 hours, but we have restricted last conference till 2 hours every day. So in such cases where we say, especially for certain events where we say, minimum attendance is less. So on those days, there is greater possibility of attending. Even for less time also you get certificate, but don't take it for granted. Every event has its own criteria. Go through it. General criteria is 60 to 75% minimum you have to attend. In some events, there are exceptions. Like even the upcoming 22nd Earth Day is also, we have exempted, and we have put more provisions in that. And we have also shared the feedback form also. So we want to create more awareness on that day and make it more simplified. So there are certain events where we need to create more awareness because climate crisis, and now we have to save our planet from different pollution and other aspects. So we welcome you all to be prepared for the presentations and also to participate and share with your friends and families. So read instructions carefully for every event and do join. It is only your loss, your gain. So if you follow the instructions carefully and adhere to them, it's your gain. If you don't follow, then it's your loss only. Unnecessarily, you are losing an opportunity for gaining insights and knowledge, as well as for gaining certificates as well. So it's you, the best person, to decide how to go about it, whether to follow the instructions carefully, read them and understand them, and accordingly follow them so that you can gain all this knowledge and also certificates. But if you don't want to, then it's up to you. Anyway, blaming someone will not solve any problem. You can keep blaming for your entire life, but will that solve the problem? It will not solve the problem, but it will, it will make you lose opportunities in future. So that is what is happening or will happen. So you be conscious of what you are doing and keep attending this wonderful opportunity. And we have almost come to, another few months are available for this closure of series. So we request everyone to utilize, and we are very considerate. I can also explain in coming days after this. I can show you how much I have extended or how much my team has extended in spite of not completing formalities also. We gave time, but it's not possible on each and every day and every time, because we are also having so many things to handle. And especially this, sometimes we don't even get time to sleep and eat also. So you have to consider all those things, and not every time it is possible for us to do your work also. So sometimes when we get time, we take out and we prepare and give it to you. But don't take it for granted. That is where, sometimes you say you have given, sometimes you are not given. Sometimes we get time, we prepare. Sometimes we don't get time, then you will not get it. Again, you are only going to be the sufferers. Instead of that, you do your work, we will do our work. We will happily both will have a win-win situation where we both can get benefited. After all, there is nothing we are gaining from this. We are investing our time. We are investing our resources. We are paying for everything. You are not paying for anything. Like you also invest your time. We are also investing our time. And apart from time, we are also investing our infrastructure. We are paying for the services like Zoom and various other systems or softwares and other things. So additionally, like you are also taking out time, we are also taking out time and putting. So it's always a win-win for both of us. This platform is created and everything is kept free. We are not charging a single rupee. We are not raising any funds from anyone, neither from the public sector, nor from the private, or not from the government. Entire thing is free. So there is no benefit. We are not doing any publicity that we are not gaining something. It is purely kept as a non-profit model. So make best use of this platform. Only request is your platform. It is our platform. You follow the instructions. You happily take. Blaming someone, or it doesn't solve any problem. In fact, it aggravates your stress and anxiety. For us, if we can do something, we'll definitely do it. We are doing out of our this thing also. But you need to understand that we are also helpless at times, so it will cause unnecessary delays. And you are going to be the ultimate loser if you don't follow the instructions and complete the formalities in time. That is also necessary. So let's keep attending. Let's keep presenting more in coming days. And we are also planning, as we have informed earlier, we are planning to come with an international compendium of all the events since past 2 years, which will be published under Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav series celebrations. So in that, all the participants list also, event-wise, there you will come to know whether you have registered or not, whether you have attended or not. Like for each single events, we'll compile we have all the records. We'll also put who have registered, who have attended, and who have received certificates. And all these, maybe if possible, in detailed form or in a summarized form, it will be available. That will be a record for everyone. You can also save it. And we'll see. We will have both the forms, e-format and also the print format. And for e-format, it is free only. There is no need to pay anything. But if you need hard copy, then the actual printing cost, whatever the printer quotes, that you need to pay. That only if you require a hard copy. So you can choose it later on. We will tell you whatever the printer mentions quotes for a print copy. If you want a print copy, then you can pay directly to the printer or publisher, or you can also get from us. That we will let you know at a later point of day, once everything is finalized, prepared. So even those who have not completed, this is a great opportunity. All forms are open. So you do complete, you make sure you are completing all the formalities for the past events, present events, and also do register and complete the formalities for upcoming events. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity where we all are getting. So utilize this opportunity, make presentations, encourage participation, and do join events, promote events. So thank you everyone once again for joining us, and keep contributing, attending. Let's have a win-win situation over this. Let's not blame each other. Let's not, this entire thing is for yours only. You are the ultimate winners and losers. So let's use this effectively and keep this going on, learning going on. Thank you once again, everyone, for joining us. See you all tomorrow at the same time with the same link with different commemorations. Take care. Good night.